It's the We Can't Have Anything Nice edition of Hot Mic. The Twins lose a heartbreaker in L.A. Plus, you meet one of NDSU's best athletes hoping for a big sophomore season. Hot Mic starts now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to the Sell 'em All edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning in Sioux Falls. KNBN to our friends in Western South Dakota. And Inforum.com. Happy Thursday, everybody. Near the end of the week. Final full week of July. Got a week left to go, and then we're on to August here. Which means a week out from, I heard Chris Atterbury, who calls the Twins games on the radio, does a great job, say we got a week to go for the trade deadline, then we don't have to talk about it anymore. But good for us is that we do get to discuss it for the next little bit, because after yesterday's Twins game in Los Angeles, it's apparent, if it wasn't already, and I thought it was June 28th, sell them all. Whatever you can get, make it happen, Twins, because it ain't happening in 2025. We'll show that in just a little bit. The Vikings are back to work. We have video of guys stretching. It's fantastic. J.J. McCarthy throwing the football. This is what we've been waiting months for, but the Vikings are back at camp. They actually were moved indoors yesterday because of the rain and the weather down in Eagan, but we'll show you that. We'll talk plenty on the Vikes coming up later on in our program today as well. It's a busy uniform jersey day. If you did not see what happened with the Cleveland Browns yesterday, and it only would happen to the Browns, we will show you that coming up later on in the show. And it seems fitting, since Eric's now on vacation, that the Packers dropped their new alternates, which are interesting. We'll show you that coming up in a little bit as well. So we've reached that time of the year where teams are getting excited about being back to work. It's the best part of the year. We were talking about it yesterday. We had Alex Meeson here from Davies High School getting ready for the upcoming high school season. It's just everything's right around the corner. Now we can see it. We can feel it. It's almost here. And we can't wait for it. We do have some baseball news to get to. Yesterday's game in L.A. was great. It was a good ball game. And for 8+ innings, Twins played really well. The last little bit of this was indicative of it's a tough deal. You know, if you've got an opportunity to beat the best team, one of the best teams in baseball, you have to take advantage of it. To win a series, you've got to do it. And they came up short yesterday. This is what went down in L.A., which was a fabulous game. And when you got this guy batting again, I mean, you just chalk it up. If he's going to hit a home run, all right, tip of the hat to you, because he did it again. 5th straight game that Shohei Ohtani hits a home run. Gets the Dodgers out to a 1-zip lead. How about Royce Lewis has a pulse? Another home run for him. Ties the game up at 1. Starting to come around, his 5th home run of the season, 3rd home run on this road trip. After that, Tyler Glasnow took over. This guy is electric. 7 innings, struck out 12 Twins. We move to the 8th. It's a 2-all game. Harrison Bader at the plate. We're not sure how much longer he's going to be a Twin. He'll beat this out for an infield hit. That's going to score Brooks Lee, make it a 3-2 Minnesota lead. Same score in the bottom of the 9th. Rocco opts to walk Ohtani. Griffin Jax is in, facing Mookie Betts. On a 1-2 pitch, they say he held up. What? Watch it again. In what world did he hold up? That's breaking the plane of the plate. And then Jax walks him. So the bases are loaded. Freddie Freeman up and lines it to left. Bader can't come up with it. That's going to allow Betts and Ohtani to score. And the Dodgers walk him off. The Twins have still never won a series at Dodger Stadium. 4-3 the final yesterday. Heartbreak Hotel there. In a game that there was a couple of opportunities there they let slip through their fingers. They dropped to 4 games under 500. Paddock was great. Probably his best start in a month and a half. Gets a no decision. He struck out 8. Lewis, another solid day at the plate for him. But the Dodgers win it. Kyle, I'm sorry to be a pain. If you could cue up the still shot of Mookie Betts, that would be great. Because we're going to go back to that. But there was another sin that occurred in the bottom of the 9th inning. And it wasn't just that they didn't get the call. Okay, that happens. But if you're Griffin Jax, you can't walk Ruiz. You can't let that happen. That was the guy that batted right before Freeman got the game-winning hit. That guy hadn't had a walk all season. You can't let that happen. If you're going to be the guy, and Griffin Jax, go ahead, you can throw it up when you're ready. If you're going to be the guy to replace Duran, you got to be. Look at that. In what world is that a check swing? And for some reason, that's not reviewable yet. The minors have this. You could do it in AAA and AA, but in the major leagues, I mean, that is, he broke the plane. That view is the most damning one. The one up top ain't great either, but that's a swing. That is a swing. Regardless, okay, that happened. But Ruiz comes up, who's batting .250 on the season, right? And I'm not making that up. He did not have a walk yet on the year. All told in his career, he's only walked a handful of times, and Jax walked him. You got to go after that guy. You can't let that slip through your fingers. And as it was, Freeman comes up and does what Freddie Freeman does. He delivers a big hit, and there she goes. That's the game. And does that mean that's the straw that breaks the camel's back? I don't know. But at this point, now a week out, and where you're sitting in the standings, and again, the AL Central race is lost. They're not going to win this division. In fact, the Tigers have been schizophrenic here over the last little bit, including being swept by the Pirates of all teams. It's time now to start looking at other moves and looking ahead, frankly, to 2026. And I understand there's plenty of indecision and not knowing what's going to happen with this baseball team because we don't know who the owners of the team are going to be. But there are movable assets here. We've gone through it, and the players have been identified for the most part. You know, the baseball insiders have let it be known that if the Twins were to somehow make Joe Ryan available, there could be a big haul there. If they were to make Duran available, I think there would be a haul there. I think Jax is still wanted. Yesterday notwithstanding, I think that there will be some value if you wanted to make Griffin Jax available. Question is then, who's closing your games? Is Louis Varland the option then if they end up parting ways with each of those guys? But we'll wait and see. But I would think the talk now will increase. I don't think it's going the other way. And I don't care if they sweep the Nationals. It's not going to happen. This is from Ken Rosenthal yesterday. The Twins are open to discussing ace right-hander Joe Ryan as well as their top relievers, righties Joan Duran and Griffin Jax. But with the team for sale, the front office will proceed with perhaps even more caution than it might normally. So, again, you can get all excited about what the potential could happen with this baseball team of who's they could add. But with the indecision on who's owning it, that's all up in the air right now. This is more from Rosenthal here. The disappointing Minnesota Twins are open to shopping ace right-hander Joe Ryan as well as their top relievers. Ryan, Duran, and Jax are all under club control for 2 additional seasons. That's huge. You cannot discount that. That's why if you're the Twins, you got to be blown. You got to get, in my mind, you got to get a guy who is ready to go now, a current major leaguer, and additional prospects there. If the Twins are sold, as again continuing from Rosenthal, Commissioner Rob Manfred said at the All-Star break, quote, there will be a transaction. The new owner presumably will ease the Pohlad family's payroll restrictions. So trading one or more of the pitchers without clarity in the team's future might be a decision the team regrets later. As first reported by the New York Post, John Heyman, the Twins are open for business on their potential free agents. Right-hander Chris Paddock, he helped himself yesterday. He struck out 8 against the Dodgers. It's not like he struck out 8 against the Rockies because he got roughed up by the Rockies out of the All-Star break, but he struck out 8 Dodgers. Infielder Willie Castro, center fielder Harrison Bader, and first baseman Ty France. Ty France getting you a bag of balls these days. Castro is a logical backup plan for the Seattle Mariners and other teams pursuing Arizona Diamondbacks third baseman Eugenio Suarez. So that's where we're at 9:13 on Thursday morning. Stay tuned to it. And I'm sure for those that follow the baseball team, they want to, hey, we're not out of it, but you are. Division race is what it is. Wild card race, again, you got to leap over a ton of teams to get there. Much more on this tomorrow. Corey Provis will join us as the Twins are back home to play the Washington Nationals. Currently in the wild card race, the Twins are behind Texas, Tampa, Cleveland, and Kansas City. So 2 teams in their own division they'd have to leap. And that's not even talking about Texas. It's over, Johnny. It's time to move on. And the moving on for sports fans in the area is from the Twins to the Minnesota Vikings. I promised you video of guys stretching and working out. We've got it for you from yesterday from Egan and TCO Performance Center. There it is, folks. This is what we're allowed to shoot. Kevin O'Connell talking with Jordan Addison. We're not sure what Addison's status is going to be, knowing full well now after he pled guilty to his DUI that happened a year and a half ago. There's the new offensive lineman, Donovan Jackson. Yes, stretching. We love it. It's so silly. I can't even tell you why football teams do this, because it happens in college as well. There's J.J. McCarthy throwing. All right. We can get excited about that, right? It's so silly. But, again, we eat it up because this is what we've been waiting 6-7 months for. Couple of impressions yesterday. Rondell Moore wearing number 4. Remember, they signed him from Arizona, wide receiver. Yeah, we can't get enough of the hopping video. That's my favorite. Looked pretty good. This is from the Star Tribune yesterday. Missed all of last season with the Cardinals. He and his surgically repaired knee feel, quote, great. All good, he said. Could be a return guy as well. Top 3 corners. Byron Murphy Jr., looking good. Jeff Okudah, remember they signed him, the former number 3 overall pick from the Lions. Mekhi Blackman, who we didn't see at all last year, who they drafted out of USC, who tore his ACL. Looking good there. A couple other observations from yesterday about Ty Chandler. Again, Chandler barely played last season. Remember that? What was he, a fourth or 5th round pick? I can't remember, out of North Carolina for the Vikes a handful of years ago. Obviously, they traded for Jordan Mason. That's a guy, as they get closer to their first game, and I'm not sure how much the regulars are going to play. It's been less and less for every NFL team as the years have gone on here in the preseason. But that's a guy that was a quiet addition. That was a good addition, I think, for the Vikes to get him from San Francisco. He was the guy last year when Christian McCaffrey wasn't out there. Mason was good. That was, I think, a under-the-radar move by Kwesi Adofo-Mensah that they got. We'll talk more about the Vikes coming up later on the show this morning of the additions they made and guys that we're going to keep an eye on in camp. The big question, and KOC hasn't really answered it yet, and he's not gonna probably until we get closer to game 1 of the preseason, which is 2.5 weeks away, is how much is McCarthy going to play? I think you got to play him some, and you got to play him some with the ones. You can't run him out there with the number 2 or number 3 offensive line, because that's an easy way to get the guy hurt again. But you got to have him out there a little bit just to see how he's progressed. We saw him for 2.5 quarters of one preseason game last year, and then that was it. I think you got to give him a little bit of run in August just to see where he's at. I'm not talking a ton. I'm not saying a half, maybe a quarter. At least a couple series you got to, I think, if you're the Vikes, knowing you've put everything into him. And, frankly, with that offensive line that was rebuilt, you've got to play those guys as well. We'll see. But, yes, we've got the video. Guys stretching, working out. That's what we wanted. We've been waiting all year for it. We got a packed show coming up for you here today on this Thursday morning. Our guest lineup is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Fun lineup of guests we got. Coming up at 9:35, Buffalo, Minnesota head football coach Jackson Litterer will be back with us. Really unique story that we didn't have a whole lot of time to get into when Jackson joined us last year after Ryan Babbitt's announced his commitment, is that Jackson was head coach of 2 separate Bison incoming freshmen at 2 separate schools, Brody Clubb and Ryan Babbitt's, who are both now in Fargo. We'll get Jackson's story on that coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, returning soccer standout from North Dakota State, Morgan Russman will join us, the Summit League Player of the Year last year as a freshman. Scored 11 goals in leading NDSU to the conference championship. What she'll have in store for her sophomore season, that's coming up at 10. And at 10:35, Alec Ausmus is back with us from KSTP TV Sports down in the Twin Cities. He was at Eagan yesterday. He's going again today. We'll visit with him about impressions from the Vikings, get a Twins update, all that kind of good stuff coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Thursday morning. Glad you're joining us. We're off and rolling. We come back. The Jets are going to jet. It's day 2 of camp, and the season's already over. Hot Mike, back after more hopping video. We're back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning show off and rolling. As I was about to leave my office and come down to the studio here, phone started blowing up, which always gets the attention. Everything was good at home. It was fans of our show, supposed friends of mine that alerted me to the breaking news out of New York this morning, which the Jets are on day 2, much like most teams are, of training camp. Every year we do this, right? Every year there's injuries that go down that may derail one season. It only seems that the fact that the Jets have this every bleeping year. This is from Brian Costello, who covers the team, tweeted out this morning, Justin Fields is being taken inside on a cart. He pulled up during a play in team drills and had his leg being checked since. Oh, that's so great. Well, we had one full day with him, right? That worked out. No update yet. The email has been blowing up since then. Dom Fields was carted off this morning with a non-contact injury. If serious, who do they go get? Cousins? Wentz? Do they roll with Tyrod Taylor? Tyrod Taylor is the Jets' backup right now. I guess tell me how serious it is. Anytime you hear carted off, that's never a good sign. I mean, we're all going to play internet doctors here this morning, but it's an already tough deal for Aaron Glenn. The Jets coach just got the job, and now they wanted Fields. They went and signed him, and now who knows? Who knows how serious they could be? It's not great. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers, Dom. Your season's already over before it started. Tell me something I didn't know. What did we say yesterday? The Jets were 26th in the pre-training camp power rankings, whatever that's good for. But that's the latest here. There was already a bunch of guys that went down, and it happens every year. I'm reading ESPN story now on the Fields update from Rich Cimini. Was carted off the practice field Thursday morning with an apparent lower leg injury. Fields pulled up after rolling right and throwing an incomplete short pass to tight end Jeremy Ruckert. Fields went down, sat on the ground briefly, and limped off the field with the assistance of a trainer. He spent a few minutes in the injury tent before a cart arrived on the scene. That does not sound good. Fields was taken to the locker room, sitting in the passenger seat of the cart before walking into the team facility. Fields signed a 2-year, $40 million contract as a free agent. Is the Jets' undisputed starter. Tyrod Taylor replaced him in team drills. Not great. Not that I was expecting the, 10-7 in the playoff mix. Although playoffs be nice, so they have the longest playoff drought in all of the 4 professional sports. So that's great, and it looks like it might continue. The only solace I have this morning is what happened yesterday with the Cleveland Browns. If you've not seen yesterday, the Browns unveiled their new alternate helmets and jerseys, something that we had heard about last week. This is what they look like. This is the Browns' new uniform combo, which is okay. They missed the opportunity to do the elf on the side of it. It's all, you're the Browns. I'm not sure what you have for opportunities there. Now, the fun part is, they had a big unveiling down by the lake yesterday. And only in Browns fashion that something disastrous could come of this yesterday. Watch the guy right. He works for the team, and he's getting video of the unveiling, and right in the water. Immediately, he was all right, so we could laugh about it. But the camera's got to be toast, right? That's done so. That should be the perfect reaction to anything bad that happens with the Browns. This meme will live forever. Poor guy didn't see anything coming, and then dunks it. So that's what happened in Cleveland yesterday. With their alternates. The last one that came out just before we hit the air this morning is out of Green Bay, because we heard the Packers were going to unveil their alternate jersey and helmet, and this is what the Packers have come up with, is that blue? It's like, didn't they do this already with the navy blue? That was the yellow and blue one that they had. The helmet's kind of cool looking because it looks like the old leather helmets that they used to wear, 80 some odd years ago. It's not bad. I'm not sure when they're wearing this yet, but that's what the Packers are going to be rolling with for their alternates in 2025. So, again, we're your uniform helmet leader. That's what has been unveiled so far. I know there's a few others coming, but that's what we got. All right, we have an update. This is from Aaron Glenn, the head coach of the Jets. Glenn says it's a toe injury on Fields' right foot. Not sure of the severity. Well, at least it's not a knee, but what else can you say? when you're a Jets fan. Literally, Neil O'Donnell, the Jets' high-prized free agent signing after he led the Steelers to the Super Bowl, the Jets signed him, got hurt in warm-ups of his first game. Couldn't play. Hurt his arm warming up. Only with this franchise that you can have these things befall the team. The Rodgers thing goes without saying. What was it, fourth play of Rodgers' time with the Jets? Tore his Achilles. And it doesn't happen with other positions. It happens with the quarterback position. That's it. Sanchez ran into his own center and fumbled the ball. It's only with that position they have been it's because they drafted Ken O'Brien. They were actually okay at the quarterback spot long before I was born because they had Joe Namath. Okay. Richard Todd was pretty good. But they had a chance to draft Dan Marino, and they drafted Ken O'Brien. And they will never, ever live that down. And they shouldn't. Ken O'Brien was a nice Division II quarterback. North Dakota State fans know him. He played at UC Davis, right? Was he a better college quarterback than Dan Marino? I think we all know the answer to that. And so the Jets had the opportunity. Marino was sitting there. Everybody had passed on Marino. Go back and watch the 30 for 30. It's fantastic. Todd Blackledge got drafted before Dan Marino. Anyway, the Jets are sitting there on the clock. They have a chance to get him, and they drafted Ken O'Brien. I have my Ken O'Brien starting lineup right over here on the set. Not bringing it out today because the Jets quarterback curse continues. All right, with that, we'll break. We come back. Jackson Litterer will join us from Buffalo, Minnesota. Really interesting story on him. He coached two separate Bison football freshmen at two different schools. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on this Thursday morning. We're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning edition of Hot Mike off and rolling. I'm done ranting and raving here. The Jets season's already done. Didn't even start, but we'll worry about that later on in the show. I'm really pumped for our next guest. We've had him on the show before. We're getting ready for the start of, obviously, we've got college football camps going. We saw NFL training camps are underway. We're not that far away from high school. North Dakota, I believe we're about 10 days away. Minnesota, just a little bit longer than that, which there's going to be a great another high school season in the state of Minnesota. With we're keeping our eyes, obviously, what Moorhead is doing. Team down by the cities, which we focused on before, that shares the nickname of North Dakota State, the Buffalo Bison. We've routinely had guys come from Buffalo up to NDSU. We know Ryan Babbitts, who's here on campus. We had Ryan on the show about a month and a half ago after he won another state championship. Did that in the shot put or the discus? I can't remember. That's on top of him being an unbelievable wrestler and football player. He's coached by Jackson Litterer, who joins us this morning. We've had Jackson on the show before. The intriguing part about this is that Coach Litterer also coached another Bison recruit at another school in Brody Club, who's also here at NDSU. It's great to see you, bud. How you been?
Hey, been great. Thanks for having me back, and excited to talk some football. And it's like my favorite time of year, getting ramped right back up.
It's the calm before the storm, as we like to call it. You shared a letter on social media you got from Brody, which we're going to show the letter here in a second. But first, the impact of that. You're in the submarine. You're getting ready for it. When you get something like that from a former player, what does that mean to you?
It's pretty much everything. I honestly goosebumps right now, and I hope I don't get too emotional. That happens sometimes, but it's the impact and the influence that you don't always know you're having in the moment when you're working with kids and just in general. And to me, it's why you coach and why you teach is for those type of opportunities to later on hear that, hey, all the things that you were trying to teach them when they're young and they're kind of knuckleheads, because I remember being the young knucklehead myself. You try to hold kids accountable to certain things. You try to help them see a perspective that's a little bit more, mature or wise, whatever that is, just like I had coaches and teachers and parents trying to help me with. And then to hear back from a kid, I haven't seen Brody and it's been a handful of years now since moving up to Buffalo. But that impact and that influencer was really there, and he's using it now at the next level. It was brought me to tears is what it did. I was at the middle of our own weight room session, and I get this letter and I open it up, and then it reminded me, whether it's a kid that's going to go play Division I football or it's somebody that's just a part of your own team or at your school coming into the weight room, it inspired me to get my butt moving, coaching again, and just trying to work with all these kids that are just trying to become better versions of themselves. And that's what I love about teaching and coaching is those opportunities.
So you were coaching at Clear Creek Amana High School in Iowa before you got the Buffalo job, and that's where you met Brody, which is just amazing because you mentioned this almost in passing when we had you on last June when Ryan committed, and I filed it away, and then you here's the letter that Brody sent you, and it says that again. I'm reminded how small the world is when instances like this.
Yeah, 100%. And I knew Brody as a sixth grader. That's actually kind of my first introduction really to getting to know Brody in my sixth grade math class. Wow. The letters, it's kind of funny, actually. He said we did 15% math and 75% life lessons. That only adds up to 90%. I texted him after that, by the way. So we must have spent a little bit too much time on the life lessons and not enough on the math or Brody, I texted his dad too. Brandon, head basketball coach at CCA, got to know him, great friends of mine. He said maybe that 10% was just for Brody and he wasn't going to share it with anybody else. So anyways, it was just kind of a funny thing, but yeah, just how cool to have two former players of mine, and Wyatt Osterbauer over there at NDSU as well right now. And to be in a program that I think really highly of. I think NDSU, they do things the right way, in my opinion. The way they recruit kids, the way they work with us high school coaches, they keep everybody in the loop. They're very transparent. Like, what more could we want for our kids than to go to a place that's going to continue to help hold them accountable and successful, or help them be successful? And they're going to be much better husbands and dads and the things that really matter. Football's great, but there's bigger responsibilities in life that are going to come their way here in a little bit. And I'm tickled that they're all together. It's really cool.
You get a letter like that, Jackson. What's that do for you? Does that renew what you're doing, or give you a sense, like maybe in a time where, especially now, it's the slog before you get going? Like, man, this is what you do it for.
Yeah, I 100% think so, and I think. I got to talk to my wife when I came home, and just coaching football in general and really all sports. But I would just say football is kind of a beast of its own. It takes a lot of time. I'm at the weight room every single day, 6 a.m. With our kids, and I'm here till 10. And I'm not saying that as like, wow, I deserve a trophy or a medal. But it's really like, hey, if you want your school, you want your teams to be successful, it takes that. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes doing a little bit more than maybe what you're paid to do, right? Like how much you're actually paid to, people get caught in that stuff where it's like impact. To me, this is like my calling. It's something that I feel like I'm called to serve in. And then you get rewarded like that. You could not put a dollar amount on getting a letter like that. Yeah. And that's something I'll have stowed away on those rainy days, those hard days. Why am I doing this? We all go through that. You pull out a letter like that, what a great reminder. And like I said, it kind of put a spark under my butt, and it was, had me fired up for the rest of the week. It definitely made my day.
Did you reach out to Brody after you got it?
Oh, yeah, right away. And just, thanked him bottom of my heart of just like, wow, like he certainly didn't need to do that. And especially in a day and age, everything's done by text.
Right.
It's easy just to text a guy that or just, a Snapchat or whatever. I don't have Snapchat, but anyways, like that's kind of the world. Then you get a kid, hey, I want to sit down. I want to take pen to paper. I'm going to mail this to you. It's just kind of a lost art, and meant a lot to an old coach, more than he'll ever know.
Mentioned we had Ryan on the show, Jackson, shortly after he won another state championship at the state track meet to wrap up what's been an unbelievable year. Now both these guys are teammates that you coached at one time. It's amazing that's the case. Describe the two guys that Bison fans are going to get to know, that they're now here with their first fall camp just about a week away now.
Yeah. Well, I strolled into the weight room this morning about 5:50, and all of a sudden I see a sight for sore eyes. Ryan Babbitts is sitting in the weight room with his younger brother who is about to do his lift. Ryan's back for a few days, 309 pounds, whatever he said he is right now. Just a mammoth. But both kids, and I'm going to tell you this, it all starts going back with who raised them, their families, their parents, their kids that they know this, but certainly like they are so fortunate to come from where they came from a family side of things. And I would also say from a school district and just from a part of the country where they were raised. That's just my humble take on that is they've had a lot of people in their village that helped grow them, but they're two kids that are incredibly motivated. They're disciplined. They're who you want. I mean, I sit here like, I hope my kids grow up to be kind of like those guys. And if that happens, I'll be a really proud dad. If I ever had a daughter, those are the kind of guys you want to come home and have them come into your home because, they're going to make your family better too. So just, skill and ability for sure. And they're going to get to work with some great coaches there that are going to get even more out of them than maybe they even know they have within themselves. And Bison fans, you won't always get to know these guys on that personal level, but I'm telling you, these are both the kind of kids you want on any team. They're going to make them better. Go Bison. I can't wait to watch them.
You got to see, obviously, Ryan up close the last couple of years. This year that he had, Jackson, for what he did, obviously, for you on football, then to go what he did in wrestling was nearly a state championship, then what he did in track. How impressive was what he just did in 2025?
I mean, incredibly impressive. The fact that he didn't start any of those sports until he was in high school, some not until his sophomore year at all, and I didn't know Ryan as a freshman. He was the baby deer. That's kind of how he was described to me. And so he earned everything he got. Now to sit here and tell you I'm shocked that it happened, I'm really not shocked that all happened. To me, like that's the skill and ability, all the hard work, he came back and he talked with our team about visualizing. He visualized himself making it to the state finals in wrestling long before that day actually came. And when he came to the weight room, he was thinking about that stuff that was a skill set that he talked to our head strength coach, Austin Youngmark. He said how important that was for him to believe he could. He visualized the story is he was getting beat until his last throw at the state shot put tournament. And he had visualized that exact moment actually of saying, hey, it comes down to the sixth throw. It's this one. I got to go do it and put up or shut up pretty much. And then that scenario came to life, came to fruition. And then he hits a bomb, wins a state title. And something that he had prepared himself for a long time. So like, it's just the perfect example of like, I wasn't that good at those same skill sets when I was his age, and I'm a coach now and I can sit here and say, hey, Ryan, do this, and it's going to lead to success. What's really hard is to do it, and hold your own self accountable to that. But that just really speaks to who he is. Just how cool. I joked, last thing I'll say on that is, one of his former running backs was in the weight room this morning too. And I leaned over and I said, we were looking at Ryan and I said, we literally had a bison on our team, like a literal bison the last 2 years. Cause he's huge. But he earned all that, man. It's so cool.
I know he committed relatively early. If he had stayed out there, what kind of offers may have come his way?
I don't know. Like there's everybody, they come with their different measurements, different schools, like, hey, your hand size has got to be this, your shoulders just need to be a little bit wider, this, that, or the other. I think for sure with transferring and everything else, there've been plenty of schools that would have said, hey, if we can get this guy to refill in maybe something we didn't have, those offers might have come. But to be honest, those offers should have been coming right from the get-go. Yeah. I mean this genuinely. The Bison got like a home run diamond. I wouldn't even call it in the rough. I think he's a standout diamond. But he could play at any level of college football. Development still needs to happen for sure. He would tell you the same thing. But where he is, I know it's exactly where he wants to be. He believes in the program. He believes in the culture. He wants to be a part of that tradition that's been there. And I think he has pretty high aspirations for what he could do past college. And he's at a program that has clearly done that and developed kids. And so what a win-win for not just Ryan, but also for NDSU. I
was just looking for your team for 2025, and you still got, I know you got at least a couple more Division I guys on your current roster for this season. The high expectations always come with your team. Describe that of getting ready for this upcoming fall.
Yeah. One thing that's a little different for us, our enrollment went down just a little, and we were kind of the very bottom of the top 32 That's what makes 6A in the state of Minnesota is the 32 biggest schools. And we're like maybe like 37th or something like that. So we're actually going to bump down to 5A and be a little bit of a bigger fish in the pond. That's nice to a degree. That doesn't mean it gets necessarily any easier. There's still really good teams all over the place. And so certainly a challenge for us. It'll be new opponents than what we played the last 2 years. But yeah, like Hans Peterson's probably a name that comes to mind when you're talking about just another great talent. He just committed to go play for Army. He wants to serve his country and play football at a really high level. He wants to get a degree. It's going to be a whole different experience that not a lot of other schools can offer. And so how cool is that too? Another kid that I think he was pretty high on NDSU as well. And going to go serve our country and play football at the same time. Like, it's just awesome. And so behind his leadership, we got a lot of other seniors, juniors, upcoming talent. We have a lot of talent here in Buffalo. No doubt about that. But I think what I'm most proud of within our town is like, we don't just really care about talent. Like it's blue collar, get your butt to the weight room, doing little things right. Like, we're not just so good that we can just show up and beat anybody. We need to go earn that every single day. And that's kind of how I'm wired. And I like the challenge of that.
Last thing before I let you go, I have to imagine you got to get some good seats here from NDSU now that you coach two separate guys. I mean, you can get the Bison on the horn and say, hey, I want some pretty good seats when you come up to the Dome.
Well, I mean, that would be pretty cool if that if that could happen for sure. My wife and I, we've already kind of been looking at those schedules for the next few years, of just saying, that's got to be a priority, and not just going to NDSU, right? We got guys all over the place.
You do.
Concordia, we got guys over at Gustavus Adolphus. We got, I want to continue to follow where our kids go. It's something that's really important to me, is not losing contact with our players. And even if they don't go play football, man, like, tell me what's going on in life.
Yeah.
If things are going well, I'll get invited back to some weddings, or I'll get pictures of, hey, here's my new son or my new daughter, or those things, like the big life stuff. That's really what I care the most about, is I want to be in these guys' lives forever. Coach isn't just a 9th through 12th grade experience. It's for life, just like Coach Hubbard or Coach Klunder. A lot of coaches in my life that I think of the same way. So anyways, yeah.
If that letter is any indication, that's certainly going to be coming your way. I appreciate the time, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck this year. Hopefully we'll talk down the road, okay?
Hey, sounds good. Go Bison.
Jackson Litterer joining us, the head coach of the Buffalo Bison. He's got two guys that are up at NDSU now as freshmen that he coached at two separate times at two separate schools. Really neat story there. We'll break. Apparently, my aggravation was not worth it. We have an update on the Justin Fields toe injury. We'll do that when Hot Mike returns on the other side of the break, right after this. All right, wrapping up our first hour. This is why, thanks to Jackson Litterer for joining us. That was good stuff. That letter was really good, if you had a chance to read that on the screen. And Jackson tweeted it out as well from his personal Twitter account. The overreaction this time of year is so good. I just did it. Lived it. Update now from Florham Park. That's where the Jets have their training camp at, which is down the road from MetLife Stadium, home of the Jets and the Giants, from Kimberly A. Martin, who works for ESPN, saying a huge sigh of relief in Florham Park. A player stepped on Justin Fields' toe, and the Jets quarterback should be fine. I love the first, because Kyle just said this, the first reply to it, brought the card out for that? Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network says it's not broken, but they're doing an MRI to see what the next step is. The team continues to gather information. So there you have it. Overreaction Central. We do it 9 to 11 every day here. But when it's that football team and it's the quarterback getting hurt, it just goes without saying that something bad is usually going to be taking place. But we'll see what transpires there for the New York Football Jets. Not great. But, again, there wasn't anything highly expected of them in 2025 anyway. Just maybe be a little bit better, than last year. They certainly signed their guys to plenty of money. Update from down in Blaine, the 3M Open getting underway today. PGA Tour event. Our guy Tom Hoagie, who missed the cut at the Open Championship on the course. He's even par through 9 holes. Currently, Hoagie is sitting 37th in the FedEx Cup standings. As we all know, the top 30, I'm sure you all do that follow golf, the top 30 make the Tour Championship. So he's got some work to do. That's one probably top 10 finish away from leaping into that. So the PGA Tour playoffs actually begin here over the next couple of weeks. So because we're rounding down we have one regular season event left. That's the Wyndham, which I think he'll play in Greensboro next week. And then the FedEx St. Jude Championship and the BMW, he's already in because it goes top 75 and then top 50 on the FedEx Cup points list get in, and then it's the top 30. You want to be in the top 30 because you automatically invited to the Masters. That's what he's working at. He just finished a shot out of that from making it to Augusta for how he played there back in April, which honestly, that was the best performance he had at a major so far on the calendar year. So we'll update that as he's going around down in Blaine over the next hour or so, and hopefully he played well there a couple of years, nearly won the thing a couple of years ago. He likes playing in this, got plenty of family and friends that are following him around for the Fargo kids. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that coming up over the next couple days. We'll break. We come back. We'll introduce you to one of NDSU's top athletes from the soccer pitch. You'll meet Morgan Russman off a dynamite year last year in the Summer League. What she got on tap for encore in her sophomore season. It's coming up when we start hour 2 on this Thursday morning. We're back after this.
This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike, off and rolling, hour number 2. We'll check in at Vikings training camp coming up in about a half hour. More video of guys stretching. Can't get any better than that. That's coming up in about a half hour's time. I'm super excited to start our second hour with a guest I should have had on during the fall. Completely my bad on that, but better late than never as we are a week away from everybody getting rolling up at NDSU. It's not just football, volleyball around the corner, soccer going as well. The Bison soccer team had one of the best success stories last year. They won the Summit League regular season championship. Big reason why is our next guest, who was the Summit League Offensive Player of the Year as a freshman, scoring 11 goals last year. Back for her sophomore season. Morgan Russman joins us this morning to chat about trying to follow that up after last year, which I'm sure you've probably heard about 8 million times since last year ended. But let's just reflect on that for a second. Coming in as a freshman, it's not supposed to be as easy as it looked. Did it feel that way for you?
I wouldn't say it was easy. I'd say the support that I have on the team and the trust I have in my coaches just made it feel easier, I would say. But definitely could not have done it without them, my teammates. I think I just came into an awesome group of people all around that just made it feel definitely easier, yeah.
So about this time last year, you're here, you're getting your bearings. When did you get us feel comfortable? Was it right away or was it early in practice, first game? When did it start to feel like, okay, I can do this?
Yeah, I think Mike does an awesome job with getting his recruits on campus and making them comfortable from the get-go in the process. So I knew a lot of the sophomores or the girls above me coming in, so that honestly helped so much. I came in, I was like, I already know this team. Like, I feel like I know everyone already, so that was honestly super helpful. And so then from then on out, just making those connections with the girls. And the summer does help a lot. We come up early, but you get to know the team, you get to know campus, you get to know how things are done. I think that just kind of gets the ball rolling for you. And then I think I truly started to hit my stride on the soccer side more towards conference, but it always felt like home, and I always felt like it was going to be a great season from the start.
How big was the recruiting pitch that you were going to go play in Hawaii? That would be a slam dunk for me. Did you know that you were going to do that last year?
I did know. I don't know. I don't really remember if it was before I committed or shortly after, and it was just like, okay, you might as well just seal the deal. But Yes, that was awesome. Super good experience, super fun. Everyone got to go. Mike is super good about just getting us out, and he wants us to enjoy soccer, but also enjoy the places we get to go. So I think that we even had so much free time there, so that was super fun. And my parents were there, so
Oh,
just
nice.
definitely sold us for sure.
Again, brag a little bit here. You're the Iowa all-time scoring record holder. I am not a great Iowa soccer mind, so I'll ask you, how good is the soccer in the state of Iowa?
I would say Central Iowa, like the Des Moines and the Johnsons, very good. They've always been super dominant. It's always been like, oh, we don't want to go to Des Moines and play the Des Moines schools, like the big dogs, like stay away from them. Obviously, really good competition, but I would say the east side of soccer is not as good. They definitely have their pick out players that go big and do really well, but I would say my conference is not definitely not as good as Central Iowa or where we would want it to be. But it's definitely not terrible, but there's definitely a lot more to offer in Central Iowa.
Your teammates give you a hard time with that when you got there? Like, hey, we'll see how good you are. Was that something that you heard when you got on campus?
Surprisingly, no. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you had all these goals," and I'd be like, "Don't be fooled. Like, it's Iowa soccer on the east side. It's not what it seems. Like Iowa soccer and somewhere else are probably fairly different. Like the Minnesota soccer is definitely a lot better than what we have."
When did NDSU get in the mix, and what did you know about North Dakota State when the recruiting process began?
Yeah, so I talked to NDSU on the first day. We were able to. Crazy connection. Chris, our assistant coach, used to coach my sister who played soccer at Loris.
Oh,
so
wow.
he coached her first 2 years, transferred up to NDSU. So I knew Chris from then. Awesome guy, great coach, just all around. So then I think Mike kind of knew about me from being in the Drake world, being on the Iowa side. But then Chris definitely helped and was like, "Hey, I know this girl. I coach her sister." So they got in right away, and that was awesome. I've always heard about NDSU when I was younger. My family friends grew up in Fargo, and they were always like, "Oh, Bison football, it's great!" Like, and we were all like, "What the heck is Bison football? Like, where's Fargo? Like all this stuff." So I've heard about it growing up, and then just getting to talk to them in the recruiting process and just see all that they have to offer and just seeing the community. Like Bison Pride is so real, and I didn't really know much about it last year just because I was getting my feet wet. But once you go through it and stuff and just witness it, it's crazy awesome.
Obviously, Morgan, before you got here, it's been a real struggle. Bison soccer has had some real down years. Describe, you didn't know anything about that, but getting here and having the kind of success, especially for your upperclassmen, when did you get a sense last year like, hey, we're doing something special that hasn't happened here in a long time?
Yeah, I think coming in, knowing that they only won one conference game last year it was honestly shocking because you get there and it's like the standards are so high. We hold each other to, again, high standards, but even just like so many things that's just like we're done right. And I was just like, how could they have not been so successful? So that was kind of shocking to me coming in. But then after a few games and just seeing what we could do, it was kind of like my class and the class above us, along with all the upperclassmen, just were started off really, really well. And I think that we just started to hit our stride going into conference. And after playing some tough teams in Hawaii, we were just like, okay, well, we might as well go for it. I mean, as always, but just kind of hitting our stride going into conference and just seeing all of the things we tried out in preseason starting to fall into place in conference. We really were like, this is like, we were having so much fun. We're like, this is fun. Like, we're going to do this. But yeah, I think we always kind of started off good and we're just like, yeah, we got this in the bag. Like, we knew what we were doing. So it was never really a doubt in our minds.
To clinch the conference title on senior day, what was that like?
So fun. It was so fun. The whole season honestly was just for the seniors. I would say we had a great group that led us, that were again holding those standards. So I think just to do that on senior night and do it for them who have been there trying to build this program into what it is, like you said, like we haven't had the best years in the past. So I think just having them that have paved the way for us, it felt good to do it for them. They've been super good and welcoming us freshmen and just leading the team. So I think that doing it for them was just perfect and a good way for us and the team to end their career.
You're not going to sneak up on anybody this year, both the team and yourself personally. You're getting started with camp here next week. What's the challenge of that, knowing, okay, I'm going to get everybody's best shot? They're going to know where number 15 is on the field.
Yeah, I think leaning on my teammates for sure, knowing that things are going to be harder. Things definitely aren't going to go my way this year. Just trusting my coaches when they throw new things at me. Obviously we're going to have new game plans and just new things they're going to want me to try. And I think just trusting them, trusting the process, trusting my teammates, and just leaning on them when things aren't going my way, because obviously, like you said, they're going to know what I do. So just working on the new things and just continuing to trust what I do too. Having that trust in myself can go a long way as well.
I have to bring up one last thing from last year, because the penalty kick shootout with Oral Roberts, the nerves of that, you're in it, and it's to either your season ends or we're moving on. Describe that, the challenge, and how much does that still live with you, even though it was 8-9 months ago?
100%.
Yeah.
I think every meeting I have with Mike, I go and it's like, man, still think about that shootout. I'm like, yes, Mike, me too. But yeah, it definitely sticks. It sucks 100%. It is harder than it looks. Everyone's like, oh, PKs, it's all on the goalie. When I got up to take my PK against St. Thomas to win conference, they're sitting on the edge of the box like, we know where you go. We've scouted this. Like, you're never going to make this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
so there's there's trash talk before that. I never knew that. That's wild.
Yeah,
wow.
You wouldn't think.
No.
I've never gotten it before. But
yeah.
Here I am. I'm like, oh gosh, like this is like make or break. So just like continuing to have that confidence. But I obviously should have done different, but what can you do? But there's definitely a lot of nerves, especially going up there and as like a third or fourth shooter, just like knowing that it's kind of up to you. Yeah, there's a lot of nerves that definitely go into it.
Is it more mental than anything, Morgan? That what you're dealing with?
Yeah, 100%. It's like it's a shot you take 500 times a game. Like you do it all the time. You practice them every day, but then it's just once you're thrown into those situations, which I've never been in a situation like that before, especially at that high of a level. So it's just continuing to practice those and practice them at kind of putting yourself in that mindset before you go and practice them at games or in practice is definitely going to be important for sure.
Oh, well, how difficult was that afterwards, locker room, for you personally?
Yeah, not fun for sure.
Yeah.
In that moment, like, it's not your fault, but like that's all that goes through your head. It's like I missed, like that's all there is to it. Like you missed, you lost, you know what I'm saying? So in that moment it was kind of like dang, I just let the whole team down.
Yeah.
Like I should have done this, I should have done that. If I would have scored in the 5th minute when I had the chance, just kind of things like that. It was kind of just a time in the locker room where I was just sitting on my own stool in front of my locker, just like shaking my head kind of thing. But like I said, I have the best team and the best coaches that were there for me that day and the next weeks on. So that definitely helps, but wasn't my favorite after game locker room, that's for sure.
I appreciate you sharing about that. I'm interested here. You're playing an exhibition game like a week from Saturday. So like, well, how does that work? Like, hey, we're here and then we're gonna go play a game?
Yeah. Last year we played pretty early too. Not this early. I think we played like the 7th or the 10th. But yeah, I think our strength and conditioning coach puts us in the best shape to go forward and be ready for those games when we're there in the summer, obviously, because we can't be with our coaches. So he does a great job getting us ready for this. And then our leadership team has pickups every day and we just get after it. Like there's no like, oh, we're easing into it for the summer. Like we're here, we're going to get after it. We have a game in a week. So yeah, we're super excited and we have so many transfers and freshmen and stuff. So we have a lot to offer this season and we're really excited about that too. So just kind of getting out there early and working out the logistics of all that and playing. So yeah, I think that'll be really good for us.
I was going to ask you about that soccer. I'm assuming every Division I sport is this way now, but because we know football, basketball crazy. Is soccer the same, like in terms of the portal and how active it is that you pay attention to?
I don't pay too much attention to it just because I love where I'm at. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely becoming more popular for sure. There's definitely a lot of good things that come from it. Like, we were in the spring with like 13 girls, and it's like, this isn't a team. So, and we knew we were only gaining 6, so that's still barely any. But definitely is going to help us a lot, and something we're very thankful for. We have a lot of great talent coming in, and just a lot of great people, great girls. So yeah, I think that there's definitely a lot of good things that can come from it. It's not always this big, scary, like, ooh, transfer portal. Like, everyone can make it sometimes. So yeah, we're really excited for what we have won from that.
Couple minutes left here with Morgan Russman joining us from NDSU Soccer. Now, the year you had, automatically you're going to be looked upon as a leader, even though you're just a sophomore. How does that role fit you?
Yeah, I think I'm super excited. I would love to be known as leader on the field. I think that I have a lot of teammates that respect me, as there's not really on our team. I wouldn't say it's like, oh, you're a freshman, so you're not looked down as a leader. I think we're all pretty good at recognizing like who has good IQ, who's good at this, who's going to help me, and leaning on them. I think that helping onboard the freshmen kind of helped a lot in making me feel like I can be a leader, just guiding them through the summer and just getting them ready for season. But I think that I have gained a lot of respect for my teammates after last season, that they can trust me and lean on me to help lead the team. But yeah, I think it's fitting, and I'm super excited to do that this year and hopefully lead us to another very successful season.
Now that you went through it, not knowing what the Summit League was, now that you've played in it, how good is Summit League women's soccer for those that maybe don't follow as closely, or obviously you're in it? How good is the league?
Yeah, I think we 100% are one of the most underlooked leagues. I was not expecting, I was like, oh, the Summit League, like, I don't really know of any. I've known of SDSU and NDSU, and I was like, I don't really know about the rest. But 100% super underlooked, very good conference, so much good talent in there. And I know a few girls scattered across from different teams that are some of the select girls from Iowa, because I said there's not much. But I do know quite a few people in the league, and it's just like, dang, like, this conference is really good. There wasn't a game where it was like, oh, they don't belong in here. Like, I think that we put up a very good fight whenever we're put up with the Big 10s or the Big 12 schools. Like, SDSU played Minnesota, we played Minnesota, and it's not one of those games where it's just like they're going to roll over us. We might play a little more defensive, but it's going to be hard to score on us, and we're going to be tough to beat. But even when we play them, it's like we're going to get after it. Like, we're not here to sit back and just take it. Like, we can do the same thing to them. So I think just us playing them and seeing that we can compete with them, and then us just having a very competitive conference ourselves, like, it's not easy to win, as you saw. Like, we've never won it before. So yeah, definitely a lot harder than what most people would think. And they can hear me say this and probably not believe me because it's the Summit League, but it's definitely a very, very good conference.
I don't know this. Iowa high school soccer, you guys play in the fall or the spring?
We play in the spring.
Okay. I have to imagine it gets warm, muggy. Like, what's the grossest weather you've played in? Either high school, college, wherever. Like, this was awful.
So growing up, they would always have like our big state tournament, whatever, in the middle of July.
Oh.
So that was super fun. And I was just like, when I was just at school this last week, I was like, oh my gosh, this weather's nice. Like, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm kind of here for it. I come home, get off the plane, and there's heat advisory. I'm like, I used to play soccer in this. It's 105 degrees. The humidity's at like, this is dramatic, but 90%. Like, you cannot breathe.
No.
Like, everyone has those frog togs around their neck, like those mist water bottles. So they eventually moved that to a little bit earlier. But state soccer is still in the beginning of June when it's still 100 degrees. Like, before you play, you're trying to find any shelter and air conditioning you can, because it's like, we can't keep these girls in the heat. So it's definitely a lot different. Way hotter for sure.
That I figured as much, but I appreciate you sharing that before we go. Thanks so much for doing this. Stay healthy. Have a great year, and hopefully we'll catch up soon, okay?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Morgan Russman, NDSU soccer standout, joining us here. The Bison, I mentioned, they'll play their first exhibition game a week from Saturday against Creighton. That game is down in Sioux Falls. We'll be televising a couple of Bison soccer matches coming up this fall. The reigning Summit League champs, poised to be pretty good again. We'll keep our eyes on them after a dynamite 2024 season. We're overdue for a break. We'll get caught up on a couple of things, including it's uniform day. UND hockey has dropped its new threads for a new era with Dane Jackson. We'll show you those. We come back on a Thursday morning edition of Hot Mike. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. That was good stuff with Morgan Russman. Appreciate her coming on. Give us inside look at world of women's soccer. Good stuff there. We'll keep our eyes on that Bison team coming up here this fall. All right, apparently it's uniform day. We're just rolling them out here. I no control over this, but apparently today was the day to do it. UND hockey is apparently part of it. They have unveiled their new jerseys that they're going to rock for the 25-26 season, which is obviously a year of change with Dane Jackson now as the head coach. And they unveiled them here about a half hour ago as we were in the midst of Justin Fields' meltdown, which was fun, part of our show. This is what they're going to look like for this upcoming year. They're traditional in a sense. The Nodak is sweet. I like that. I don't know if anybody calls them that, though. That's the thing. And you're going to see a week from Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but a week from Sunday, August 3rd, Andrew Armacost joins me on the sit-down, and we get into this topic pretty heavily. Not jerseys, but the name, the nickname, because it's still there, especially with this team, because you'll notice there's one thing not on the front of the jersey. That's the Fighting Hawk. It's on the shoulders, I think, of the green jersey and potentially the white, but it's on the shoulders, not easily seen. That's a conscious decision there. Armacost talks about that, and I'm really excited for viewers to see that coming up a week from now. But to me, the black ones are pretty good. I like that, but it's not a vast departure from the traditional look. But that's what UND Hockey has announced what they're going to be doing for the upcoming season, which will be right around the corner. Also, the Vikings have announced some uniform stuff, which is highly controversial in this part of the world. First, I don't know why this isn't the uniform all the time, but apparently the classic uniform schedule is out, which will be for the home opener against the Falcons on Sunday Night Football, and then the regular season finale against the Packers. Kyle, tell me why that's not the normal jersey. That's all of that is great. It's perfect. It's perfect. The helmet's great. That is fantastic. If they wanted to try with purple pants, I'd even sign off on that. But that is dynamite. Now, the more controversial one is the winter whiteout, which debuted a couple years ago against the Giants. Not with the white helmet. They did the white jersey, white pants in the great comeback. Or no, that was the Colts game. The Giants game, they wore them. Then last year they wore them. Was that on Monday Night Football? I think it was against the Bears. So they're doing it again, and this time it's on Christmas Day. For the matchup against the Lions, it's coming back. So for those that haven't signed up for Netflix yet, you better prepare for that. That the all-white helmet, the uniform, the pant, the whole 9 yards coming back for the... So does that mean the Lions are going to wear the Honolulu blue on the road at US Bank Stadium? Because that'll be a dynamite uniform matchup for Christmas Day. So that's what the Vikes just released here as they get ready for day 2 of training camp, that their uniform schedule is out. Again, the classic one is tremendous. I'm not sure what the holdup is on doing that all the time. Especially that, so the 3 well, I don't know if the Packer game is going to be prime time. We'll assume it's going to mean something in Week 18. But the Falcons game is Sunday Night Football. The Lions is Christmas Day. Those are big audience games that the Vikes are going to be rolling them out. So that's what we know. I'm on board with the all-purple. They did that on Thanksgiving a few years ago when they played the Patriots. That was a good look, too. They don't do that one nearly as often as they should. With the yellow numbers, I was on board with that. I don't know if they wear that jersey anymore, but that's what the Vikes are going to be doing, at least for a couple of games in 2025. So, again, apparently today it's like everybody got the memo. Let's send out uniforms. Get them out there. Izzo will talk about them, apparently. So we're doing that tenfold there. But that's the deal. One other email comes in. This is on the Bengals. Are the Bengals bringing back the white bag? I believe so. That one's pretty sweet. That might even be better than what Minnesota has, because I think the reaction is mixed on the white helmets of the Vikings. I know our guy McFeely's not a big fan of them. But, yes, Cincinnati will be doing it again this upcoming year. All right, we'll break. We come back. Speaking of the Vikings, our next guest was there. He's going to training camp again today. Alec Ausmus will join us from KSTP TV in the Twin Cities on day one of Vikings camp. Initial impressions and what to expect. That's coming up. We come back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on this Thursday morning. Mentioned earlier, Vikings are underway at training camp. Day 2 comes up later today. We showed you the exciting video of guys stretching. The guy who shot the video joins us now on Hot Mic. Alec Ausmus joins us from KSTP TV down in the Twin Cities, getting ready for another day of stretching video that the Vikings are allowed to show us. But the breaking news... before you came on, the Vikes announced that they're doing the Winter Warrior outfit for Christmas Day. What do we think?
I mean, it's awesome. I don't know. I like it. I saw that, the not to talk about the Green Bay Packers here, but I saw they released a jersey this morning too, and the helmets look like that old leather head, so to say. So it's a good thing, right? And the NFL always does a good job with their marketing and spicing things up, if you will. The players always seem to like these new jerseys and things. You're playing on Christmas Day too. That always adds some extra flavor. Can't complain. I always think it's pretty cool when they change up the jerseys on special games like that. Well, and they're doing the classic ones for the Falcons game and the Packers. Why that's not the regular jersey escapes me. That one is perfect. Perfect. Well, and you could even say that with the Twins too. I mean, the Minnesota Twins have had some jerseys where you're like, I like that a lot better than the Lake Classics.
The City Connect. The City Connects are terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Right.
They're awful. All right. So you're down there yesterday before the monsoon came. For people that, I understand it, you're in the biz, but for people that don't know, give us the lowdown of what you're allowed to shoot when you go to Vikings camp. Yeah, so yesterday, day one, and as soon as we all pull into the parking lot, it just starts downpouring. And the Vikings have a new facility, right? It's a new facility. It's a nice facility. So moving practice to the indoor facility isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's a decent facility, but it's a lot more cramped. Yep. When we're outside, like today, the sun's shining right now in the Twin Cities. I'm expecting us to be outdoors today. There's walkways that go all the way around the fields. There's even a little incline for the cameras we can shoot down onto the practice field. That video and what you can even just see, what things going on, is so much better. So I'm expecting today is a lot better. But as for what we're allowed to do as the media, we get about the first 25, maybe 30 minutes to film practice, gather video of practice. And majority of that is stretching, guys, sprinting, doing little footwork things. It's not, I'll be honest, it's not the most riveting of video. No. From a TV side, that part gets a little tough because in a couple days when fans are here,
fans are up in the stands with their cell phones shooting that 7-on-7 video, that 11-on-11 video, and they're allowed to do it. I mean, they don't. The Vikings don't encourage it, but we as the media are very limited on what we can shoot, but we're allowed to watch. Okay, so we do get to hear things, we get to see things up close. In speaking of yesterday, in the indoor practice facility, when you're watching, JJ McCarthy do some of those 7-on-7 drills, that 11-on-11 stuff, I mean, you're hearing what the play, the calls, the audibles. I mean, you're hearing some of the play calls and things, and you're witnessing it up close. So for day one, that's always great to see. There's good and bad, though. I mean, we can dive into that in a minute, but so essentially, hopefully today, the sunshine allows a little bit more riveting video for the media.
The fun part is, like, when we get to this time of the year, sometimes a fan in the stands will have an unbelievable play from camp that we weren't allowed to shoot. I'm like, well, I remember explaining to my boss one time, like, well, how come they had? I'm like, well, they're not going in the stands and getting people's cell phones. We were not allowed to shoot that.
Correct, and there is a story to this, Dom. I'm gonna tell it. It's kind of funny. So allegedly, either 2 years ago, I believe, somebody in the media tweeted out a video of something going on in practice with a formation, and Sean McVay, who's close with Kevin O'Connell, all right? They're buddies. They've been on the same coaching staffs before. Sean McVay allegedly texted O'Connell and said, "Oh, hey, nice nickel package you're doing there with Harrison Smith." He gave something away, or he said something just under the radar enough to O'Connell, where I think O'Connell got a little paranoid about cameras at practice. We've heard that story from two different people that would know.
Okay.
So I think it's true, and I think O'Connell is a little paranoid at practice, and that leads to a lot of this.
Gosh darn it. It's just, like, literally, you could give me the entire playbook. I would have no idea. People at home would have no idea. I don't believe that at all.
And, Dom, you would know, too, as a TV station, we're doing a lot of close-up shots and stuff, right?
Correct.
Like, the shots I'm getting is Justin Jefferson catching the ball with both of his hands and stuff. I'm not a wide shot showing the whole formation. And
No,
here we are.
Give me a couple for you, or what you guys are working on, storylines early on. Obviously, JJ takes the cake, but beyond McCarthy, what other storylines are you keeping your eyes on the first few days of camp?
Two things for sure that stood out, at least yesterday. Christian Darrisaw, left tackle. He's back, and he's moving around. We saw him at OTAs. Don't get me wrong. This isn't the first Christian Darrisaw sighting for the last 9 months, but 9 months or so after, I mean, remember, he blew his knee out, MCL and ACL. It's almost as bad as it gets. And here he is 9 months later, essentially as a full participant. They don't have pads on right now. Nobody does. But we saw Darrisaw yesterday doing some decent blocking drills with the offensive linemen. That was great to see. Will Fries, the new right guard on the offensive line that the Vikings signed from the Indianapolis Colts. We didn't get to see him during OTAs. He's also coming off some injury stuff, but he's in the mix now. And he's out there with who's the new right guard? Will Fries and Ryan Kelly. That's what I was trying to think of. Ryan Kelly is the new center. Garrett Bradbury is out of the picture now. Ryan Kelly also coming over from the Indianapolis Colts. He's the new center. Those two are former teammates. So you're getting to see them work out together. That was good to see yesterday. Another thing that stood out right away, and we love this, Josh Metellus. He's not holding out, okay? No. He needs a new contract. There's things being negotiated right now with Josh Metellus, but he's not holding out. He's fully involved at practice right now. I mean, Dom, he doesn't have to do that.
No.
Like, there's millions of dollars being renegotiated right now for Metellus, and he is the ultimate teammate. I mean, there's a reason he's one of the team captains. He's out there. He's not being selfish. He knows a new deal is coming. We don't know what that deal looks like yet, and that's tough. What is the dollar amount value on a guy like Josh Metellus, who's listed as a safety but also plays linebacker, could even do some stuff at cornerback? He's done stuff on special teams. I mean, he's everywhere in that Brian Flores defense. So what is the money value on a guy like Josh Metellus? That is yet to be determined, but it's good to see him out there as a full participant right now at Vikings training camp.
Two new guys I was keeping an eye on. I was reading the Star Tribune recap from yesterday. Rondell Moore being one that's back out there, and Jordan Mason is a move, I think, under the radar that could be really beneficial to the Viking offense. Tell me about those couple guys as well, that keep an eye on them.
what's interesting in the wide receiver department is Jordan Addison likely, I'm not saying it's a for sure, but he likely has some kind of punishment coming down from the NFL from a DUI that he had last summer. He pleaded to a no contest for a lesser charge, so to say, and so he's basically ready to move on. He told us that yesterday. Jordan's ready to just face what he has to face and move on with the season. But that being said, it's likely Addison has a 3-game suspension. So that creates some opportunity in that wide receiver room. Rondale Moore, Jalen Naylor. Jalen Naylor looks like he is ready to come back and be a major threat in that wide receiver room. He's bigger. I mean, I think I told you that during OTAs a month or two ago that we saw Jalen Naylor and he's bulked up. That's good. Now let's move to the running backs real quick. As you mentioned, Jordan Mason, that's a great signing. Aaron Jones is your running back number one, I would assume here. I don't know what would prevent him from being that, but is Aaron Jones a 20 carries per game kind of guy? I don't know if that kind of mileage is good for Aaron Jones. So Jordan Mason is a great addition coming over from the 49ers, but there's some question at running back 3. Looking at the depth at running back, you would assume it's Ty Chandler, but that's not a guarantee. I mean, Ty Chandler's usage fell off a cliff last year. They had to trade for Cam Akers for the second straight season last year. That was interesting. I don't know where and why Ty Chandler, his usage just heavily declined. It was kind of a mystery. Maybe we can dig into that a little bit as training camp unfolds this year. But there's a little lack at depth in running back right now. But Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, that's your 1-2 punch at least right out of the gate here.
With the Vikes going, that means the spotlight will go off the Twins, which is probably a good idea. But I'm interested in your opinion on this. And when they come home now for a homestand for the next week, what guys are going to still be left when the homestand is over a week from now?
This has been incredibly disappointing. When they didn't, I mean, they needed to go sweep the Rockies.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. I mean, and they had a chance to take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. I mean, they could have had 5 out of 6 games on a road trip like that. Coming back with the trade deadline looming, I mean, that changes the conversation completely. Now you're leaning more towards sell. I mean, I hate to say that because they're not that far out of the wild card, but they're just not making any progress. So as you mentioned, this homestand right now, I believe it's the Washington Nationals starting tomorrow night. That's a team that's 20 games under 500. I mean, the Twins need to win that series, if not sweep that series. But I don't. So we talk about this a lot in our sports office. Joe Ryan, the value of Joe Ryan. I don't see the Twins trading Joe Ryan, but he's got some great value, Dom. He really does. He's not on a crazy contract. He's an all-star now. He's one of the best pitchers in the American League. The Twins could get a pretty good haul for him, but let's not pretend he's off the table. I could see a guy like Harrison Bader having some value to a contending team, a guy that can play the outfield, either any position really in the outfield, and he's hitting okay. All right, it's there. I want to see, not on the trading block, but good to see Royce Lewis starting to swing the bat a little better, but is it going to be too little too late? I mean, by the time things start to click here, are the Twins just out of it? And it feels like a wasted season, especially how good Byron Buxton has been. Yeah, I thought at the end of June, we may have talked about this, it was time to move on. But after the Rocky series, certainly I think, all right, it ain't happening. And then it's time to see what you can get. Not knowing, certainly with the ownership deal, that's still a huge question mark in terms of what you even want. I guess what your hands are tied is if you're the general man, if you're Derek Falvey, I don't know what you can do. Exactly. And what direction is this franchise headed right now? I mean, is this team being for sale? Is this something that drags out for another season or 2, maybe 3? I hope not. I mean, it just feels like the Pohlad family, I'm not trying to disrespect them. It just feels like the love for baseball within the Pohlad family isn't there with the kids, the younger side of the Pohlad family. I understand why they're trying to sell this team, but they're going to want $1.7 billion. I mean, that's kind of the new asking price for the Twins right now. And I don't know, Dom. It's a sticky situation. What direction are things going? If you do trade Joe Ryan, that sets you back another year or 2 with pitching. I mean, I know Pablo's still around, but I don't want prospects necessarily either. Like if the Twins trade, let's get some guys that can maybe come in and do something. I'm not saying that automatically means you turn into a playoff contender because you do that, but we have a lot of good prospects right now that the Twins are developing, and the farm system is solid. I don't want more prospects. if they do make some of these big trades. Let's get some names of guys that, the Ty Francis of the world that can come in and maybe do something right away.
Let me see. There was one other thing. You've done this before with the Gophers, but yesterday they had their media day out in Vegas that PJ Fleck took every single second. I don't think anybody got out loud to ask a question yesterday at his media deal.
Not surprised.
Right? At all.
That's PJ. Look, and I don't mean this in a bad way. He is a public speaker that's a decent football coach. Like, he knows how to work the room. He always worked. He's good, right? I mean, I don't have any beef with PJ.
No,
I really don't.
Yeah.
Things are trending in the right direction. Recruiting has gone up. And Dom, Darren Wolfson and I were looking at the Moorhead High School football schedule yesterday, just wondering, who's got the longest road trip? And it looks like Moorhead to Woodbury Moorhead's coming to Woodbury this season. I think week 3 or 4. That's probably mileage-wise the longest one. But we know there's a couple guys on that guys that PJ's looking at on that Moorhead team. So we were trying to see when's a good time to maybe get some video of those guys, get them coming down here to the Twin Cities, vice versa. But PJ's looking outside of the metro a lot, man. The recruiting's going up. And Coy Parrish, we've talked about it, but he's the shining example of PJ not just staying in the metro. It's great. I love it. So, but yeah, that Moorhead football schedule. I know I just took a random turn here, but it's interesting to look at. The Maple Groves of the world are having to go up to Moorhead this year, and I know they're the ones that have voiced their opinions a little bit on the mileage. But I'm welcoming it. I like it. I think Moorhead deserves it. And I'm excited to see what transpires from them being in 6A this year.
It's going to be dynamite to see what happens. I know you're a busy man. Appreciate the time. Thanks for doing this. We'll talk soon, okay?
That sounds good, Dom. Thanks for having me.
Alec Ausmus joining us from KSTP TV down in the Twin Cities, covering Vikings training camp, getting going day 2 later today. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up, get you ready for a busy Sports Thursday. Hot Mic wraps after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV, KNBN, and Inforum.com. All right, wrapping things up. Breaking news here from TMZ Sports is reporting that Hulk Hogan has died at the age of 71. And for a certain sector of people my age, Hulk Hogan was the biggest thing ever. Like, he may have been a terrible person outside of the ring, but when that stretch in the late 80s, even early 90s, when he went to the NWO, I mean, he was huge. He was in Rocky 3. He was Thunderlips in Rocky 3. Just unbelievable. But, apparently Hulk Hogan passing away today at the age of 71. That's the triumvirate then that we've had over the last couple days. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable, Ozzy Osbourne, and now Hulk Hogan. That's wild. That, again, the stuff people think it's made up. It happened in threes. It does. And there you go. With that news just coming in. Reminder, tomorrow on the show, Corey Provis will join us to give us a Twins update. We'll see what happens. Twins are off today as they get ready for a homestand with the Washington Nationals and the Boston Red Sox. So that's coming up. We'll have much more on Vikings camp as well. And a final couple Bison previews as we get ready for Bison Fall Camp, which begins next Wednesday. Looking forward to that. Update from the 3M Open. Our guy Tom Hoagie is even par through 13 holes. Currently in a tie for 53rd. There are guys out there making birdies right now. Sam Stevens is 9 under through 14 holes. Adam Svensson is 8 under. So there's some dudes out there going low on the opening day. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. That's a perfect segue to do some what to watch before we wrap things up. What to Watch is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. We appreciate their sponsorship of our show each and every day. Mention the 3M Open gets going at appropriately 3 o'clock today on the Golf Channel. Hoagie will be done, but you'll get to see some big names that are playing down in Blaine. That's been a great event since they've brought the PGA Tour to the Twin Cities. So apparently weather is perfect as well. So 3 o'clock later today on the Golf Channel. WNBA tonight, Indiana and Vegas, 6 o'clock on Amazon Prime. Likely Caitlin Clark not going to play. Still a pretty good game for two teams that are fighting in that WNBA middle of the standings. That's tonight from Indiana. And good baseball game tonight. No Twins, but who cares? Blue Jays Tigers are two of the best in the American League. Toronto leads the American League East right now. 5:30 tonight on the MLB Network for that one. The Tigers are scuffling a little bit. They've trended backwards since the All-Star break. So that's coming up tonight. We got to roll. Our thanks to Alec Ausmus, to Morgan Russman, and to Jackson Litterer. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Hopefully everybody has a great Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow to wrap the week on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and inforum.com.